Trying again.
PlayStation.
Hello there, folks. It is now officially day 2 of the Sonython. And I am Volkamar here with ex-gamer Richie and Nat as well, otherwise known as Natalie. And we are here with a spot of Tekken 3 to go wet the taste buds today. This is going to be fairly casual. What I'm going to plan to do is I'm going to show off arcade mode, I'm going to show off a bit of Tekken Ball, and I'm going to show off a bit of Tekken Force as well. So by the time we are done with our allotted hour, you should have a good idea of what Tekken 3 is about. Unfortunately, there isn't much of a story mode to this game, so there's nothing really much to show off there. Tekken didn't really get into the story side of things until probably around Tekken 4, I want to say, maybe 5.
Yeah, I mean, so Tekken 6, I think, was the first game to have like a full-on story mode. Before that, I think it was always just, you had the arcade mode, which was a single character story and sort of had a beginning and an end, and that was all fun. But yeah, from Tekken 6 onwards, they've pretty much had a specific story mode. But Tekken Force is sort of the story mode for this game, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, and ridiculously difficult for no reason.
Yes.
And we're going to be playing through as Gon, because Gon is amazing.
Yes, he is.
Looks so adorable. I just want to cuddle him.
Totally agree. The thing that I find hilarious is that Gon's basically like the proper cheap character in the game. I can't remember what you have to do to unlock him, but because most of the characters, their hits are slightly above his head, you have to do low attacks to constantly hit him, so pretty much if you're facing down Gon, you're buggered.
Yeah, he's just like the dude that just deliberately kneecaps you. Speaking of cheap characters, by the way, this is Eddie Gordo, and anybody who's played Tekken 3 probably knows of that friend that played Eddie Gordo and did nothing but match the circle and X button and try and twiddle around all the direction, and somehow manages to kick your ass regardless.
Early this morning we got a $10 donation, but with no comment, and it was an anonymous donation.
Ah, well, if you're out there, thank you very much for your donation. It is always appreciated.
Indeed.
And for those of you who don't know, we are here for the next couple of weeks to raise money for Child's Play, who is an organisation dedicated towards providing toys or games for all the wee children in the hospitals. It is a tremendous cause, especially for those where gaming is near and dear to our hearts. Alright, so we got Beast versus Beast going on now. Who is but the man? We'll find out today.
Well, clearly the king is Gon, because Gon is like the almighty Tekken character that should have been in every single game ever, but then was not, because he was just sort of a joke character for this one.
Yeah, Tekken's one of those games that has kind of joke characters already, but some of them were actually semi-serious. So, you got Alex and Roger, who were sort of just literally animals with boxing gloves. One was a kangaroo, which was Roger, and the other was a dinosaur, which was Alex.
Yeah.
And they were debuted in Tekken 2, I believe.
Yes.
And as far as other staples go, you got Kuma and Panda, and yeah, they have huge amounts of comic relief. I seem to distinctly remember like one of Kuma's endings in Tekken 5, where he becomes the CEO of Mishima Enterprises.
Yes.
And he's just literally a bear behind a fucking desk. It's the greatest thing ever.
Is he wearing? Is Kuma wearing a suit behind the desk?
No, but he was wearing a bow tie, I believe.
Yeah. There's also a whole thing with Kuma fancying Panda, and I'm pretty sure there's numerous endings throughout the series of Panda basically rejecting Kuma and just going, anybody got time for that?
Yeah, there's a bit of a love interest there as well. Go on, kneecap him. just bite his kneecaps off, it's fine. So apparently in the comments, for a lot of people, Eddie Gordo was actually banned. Hardly surprising. If you're gonna play a proper character for God's sake, or at least know how to play, or at least know how to play Eddie properly. Get the credentials out there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, so what Eddie Gordo does is really quite cool because obviously his type of combat style is capoeira, which is like a proper martial art, and it is really cool and really awesome to see. But obviously, it's just very, very, very easy to just cheap your way through with the character by just going, haha, take that. And you can't really defend very well against it.
Oh, this is animal cruelty.
They don't care, he's drunk. Lei is just under a constant state of drunkenness in this game, I'm pretty sure. Even more so in this game because of his profile picture especially. He's like got the lazy eye going on and everything. It's really, really bizarre.
Yeah, well obviously it's because every single character in Tekken is based on a particular type of martial arts, and I'm pretty sure that Lei is sort of he's based on Jackie Chan, isn't he? I think.
Kind of. He's meant to be a cop, is his whole spiel. But he has like the whole drunken master thing going for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the full-on drunken master, because I believe I think it's Wang Jinrei, I believe. Like a proper old guy. He's like the full-on
Oh, yeah, him. He was Jim Patchy's friend, I believe.
Yes. I have to say, most of my experience of Tekken comes from Tekken 5. Started with Tekken 3, and it was beautiful. It was my first introduction to the franchise. And then later down the line, I got Tekken 5, and I just played the hell out of that one.
My only experience was Tekken with Tekken Tag.
Yes.
Tekken Tag Tournament was pretty fun. Although I have to say the music for that one was really weird. I remember renting it at the video store, which was still a thing at the time. And one of the literal songs in one of the things just literally goes, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no mouth, no mind, no body, no shape. I was like, what the hell is this song? And then I found out later on it was Yoshimitsu's thing, because of course it is. I'd always take the piss out of it because I was always start going, no eyes, no ears, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
To be fair, I feel like that should be Mokujin's theme, considering Mokujin's just a big wooden training dummy.
Yeah, Mokujin is the mimic character of the game, for those who don't know. Rather than choosing a particular fighting style, he randomly chooses one, and at the end of each round, he'll cycle towards another one. He or she, it depends on the Mokujin.
Yes.
You can get both.
We have 2 more donations.
Oh, wonderful.
We have one for $17 by Unknown. Well,
thank you very much, Unknown.
Anonymous donator. So actually here, I don't know Agumon took up a career in boxing. Put this
well, I don't know, he was in Digimon Rumble Arena, so, you know, he's got some experience.
And he wants the donation to go towards KSIF for the, I think, FF7 name.
Alright.
Yes.
And the other donation is for $20.
Ooh.
Another anonymous, like no names been put down. And and it plays Jurassic Park theme.
Is it the one with like the flute that goes? I feel like that would be the one.
Yeah. Just go da 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 da.
Alright, so we've got 3 potential candidates for what this guy apparently is. We've got chat calling him Agumon, Charmander, and we got one for Baby Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, so we've got the whole trifecta almost at this point.
I prefer the Agumon link. I mean, purely because, you know, small yellow dinosaur that is awesome.
Oh, yes. Ah! Eat that, Nina. You thought you had me, but I am a wee dinosaur. I have tricks that you don't even know. I just love how he just falls over when he wins. It's just like, I'm so happy!
I mean, the fun thing with Gon is that he was a relative... I don't know if he was like a cult manga character or a relatively popular manga character in Japan. I'm just going to get his Wikipedia entry up. But yeah, they ended up inserting him into this game for no apparent reason, it seems. And it's just glorious.
And it was his only appearance as far as I'm aware. I don't think he even appeared in Tag Tournament.
Yeah, no, this is the only time he has ever appeared. So the original run of the manga was 1991 to 2002, over the course of 7 volumes. It was all written by Masashi Tanaka. And yeah, it was just pretty amazing. But his most notable appearance outside of Japan was Tekken 3. It was pretty much the only place he has ever appeared outside of Japan. Although apparently he now has an American show on Netflix as of 2013, which just makes me go, wait, what? When did this happen? I need to check this out.
Yeah, no kidding. You can get that Gon lore. Hayachi's kicking my ass now. I think I made him mad.
Well, you probably did. I mean, he is kind of like the sort of final boss of the game. He's not the actual final boss. That's Oga, who we're going to see in a minute. But Heihachi is the head of the Tekken Zaibatsu. So he's sort of meant to be your tough challenge.
And unfortunately, he is now dead.
Oh,
as of
that's a shame.
Tekken 7, he is now officially brown bread, and Kazuya did him the honor of throwing him off a cliff. Well, actually, no, it wasn't a cliff, it was an active volcano.
Well, that's perfectly fine.
Well, to be fair, he actually did throw Kazuya off a cliff when he was a kid, so it was only fair, I suppose, to get that final moment of revenge by chucking him into a volcano.
Exactly, it's just fitting. Now, we have lovely Suit in the chat, asking if Tekken has alt costumes, because obviously he wants to see Gon with blue gloves, and I mean, I can pretty much answer that one of yes. Tekken does have alternate costumes. I can't remember exactly what all the alternate costumes are. I'm pretty sure for most characters it just changes the colour of things. So I know that you've got Anna Williams. Her standard costume is a lovely red dress, and if you go in the alternate, it's blue. But I can't remember what the alternate for Gon is.
I believe it's just a different colour. I think it might be grey or possibly blue. I'm honestly not entirely sure.
Yeah, it feels like something like that. And yes, Sorachi Jirachi, it is indeed going towards Kitesith being named Pingers. It's just getting all put through now.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Heihachi can cause a bit of problems, especially if you're playing on normal or higher.
Oh, definitely. I mean, for some reason, I'm pretty sure that it's always this particular stage in terms of Tekken games where the challenge does tend to ramp up, because like the stage 9, whenever you're facing down either Heihachi or Kazuya or whoever's kind of the lead villain-ish at the time of that game, they always kind of pull out all the stops to be a nightmare, and then you've got your proper final battle that comes after it.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and while those battles can be really difficult, these guys tend to be that little bit more challenging just because they are a more standard character, and therefore they've got a little bit more flexibility in how they are going to attack you.
In later games it did become more blatant, rather than in these games where it's just merely a difficulty hike more than anything else. In other games, they literally give them like special powers, like permanent rage mode in some of the later Tekken games, or in Tekken 7's case, they'll like have these multi-phase fights that leave you with various handicaps.
Oh god, yes.
For instance, trying to beat Devil Kazuya with Heihachi that only has about 10% of his health. Even though it's more like effectively 50%, but it's more just to create the drama and the tension more than anything else.
Oh, definitely. And also, lovely chat people are bringing up, obviously, the Star Wars characters that are included in Soul Calibur 4. Because, obviously, you had Yoda in the 360 version, Darth Vader in the PS3 version. Obviously, DLC, you could get both in either, but that was fine. Then you had The Apprentice. Although, obviously, his actual name is Starkiller, but he was the apprentice in that game because Force Unleashed wasn't out yet. And Yoda was very much similar to Gon in that instance of being a small character who kind of got away with hitting below the belt.
That's our boy Yoda.
Indeed. And now we move from green to green because we get to face down Ogre, who is basically the main villain of this game in a way. Because if I recall correctly, what's happening is Heihachi is trying to find out magical mystery stuff and awaken an evil force, which is Ogre. And Ogre's killed like Jun Kazama, which is Jin Kazama's mum, and just been a general dick. And so suddenly he's here and we have to take him down. And if you win one round, then he's going to transform into his super evil form.
Or his true form, as it is also known.
Yes, because it's true Ogre, but obviously you need to, actually win to get to that point, don't you, Volk?
Yep, that is correct. You do actually unlock True Ogre. You unlock characters as you play through the game. You only start with about 10, but through each completion of the arcade mode, you unlock more, up to 9 times, I believe. And True Ogre is the 9th one. And at that point, you also unlock Tekken Ball, which then allows you to unlock Gon, who we are playing as currently.
Yes, that does sound about right, because you get Gon from playing the joke mode, so that makes perfect sense.
Hey, I'll have you know, Tekken Ball is perfectly legit.
Oh, definitely it is.
Oh man, this guy means business. Kneecap him! Just keep kneecapping him! Ah, the kneecapping did not work. He has too many kneecaps. True Ogre has fought everything. Extra kneecaps in case he needs them.
Yeah. I mean, something that I found quite fascinating is that obviously True Ogre was, I think, the first real huge boss that ever got faced in a Tekken game, because I'm pretty sure the enemy of the final boss of the first game was Heihachi. The second game it was Kazuya, who then transformed into Angel or Devil, who were still sort of regular size, and then you've got True Ogre, who just goes huge, and then they sort of kept ramping it up from there. I can't remember Tekken 4's final boss, although I think that was Devil Kazuya, I feel.
I think you are correct there.
Yeah, Tekken 5 was Jinpachi Mishima, who's Heihachi's father, and he was like a super devil man. Tekken 6 was some sort of weird, gigantic demon thing that's actually really ridiculous to take down. And then I have no idea about Tekken 7. I think it's Kazuya's mum.
I believe so. I just find it amazing how we're just having this completely serious conversation while Gon's ending is playing in the background. This is the main reason why I picked Gon. Just to watch this ending.
Because he's perfect.
And this is the only ending as well that loops. You actually have to manually terminate the cutscene, otherwise it will just keep looping forever. And this is the only cutscene that does this. So here we go, once more for good measure. Rolling around at the speed of Gon. I don't think it's a matter of how big is that seagull, it's how small is Gon.
I know.
But then again, it may be an albatross, and I think albatrosses are significantly larger.
This is true. Also, Gon is just incredibly small.
He is just God's gift to this game. It is. He got some good airtime, though, I will admit. Alright, there we go. That's enough of that nonsense. So there you go. That is your taste of the Tekken 3 arcade mode. Very basic, but then again, a lot of fighting games around this era was. You'd have to understand that story modes didn't really... I would say that story modes was something that were tinkered with in fighting games up toward the PlayStation 2. But it wasn't until Arc System Works started getting into the Guilty Gear X series that they really started taking stories seriously. And that was only in terms of individual character stories. Full-on integrated stories didn't come until, I want to say, round about midway through BlazBlue's reign.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got Guilty Gear Xrd, which did much the same with its fully involved story mode, and Street Fighter V kind of followed suit eventually when it eventually realized, oh, we should probably release some more content for this game. But yeah, it was mostly the anime-style fighting games that really touted story something fierce. Soul Edge and Soul Calibur, I suppose you could say as well.
Well, they shifted
Edgemaster.
towards that come Soul Calibur 5, where it actually had a dedicated story mode, which was really unfortunate. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, that one, because it's a fun story mode, but like you can tell how much dough they had just ripped away from that as they went through the process, because it was really not phenomenally well done. And obviously, you've got Mortal Kombat 9, which Mega Quint in the chats mentioned, and obviously
Yes.
Persona 4 Arena that Madam77's brought up as well. So
Yeah, when
It's become the
NetherRealms
end
came
thing.
into it. Yeah, when NetherRealms came into it as well, they did some really interesting stuff. Obviously, you got Mortal Kombat 9, which was mentioned. Then you got Injustice, and then you got Mortal Kombat 10, which was more following the Injustice style, because that was genuinely very, very well received as far as its story. And then Injustice 2 did more the same. So, NetherRealms and Arc System Works, I would say, if you're looking for a fighting game with story, those are the two developers you want to look for.
oh,
Because
definitely.
they absolutely loved their story. Alright, anyway. I think we're almost done with the credits, so now I'll be able to show off some Tekken Ball. As far as Tekken Ball's concerned, there's a couple of weird modes that Tekken added throughout its lifespan. I believe Tag Tournament had Tekken Bowling or something to that effect. I can't remember if it was that or if it was a different game, but I'm pretty sure Tekken Bowling was a thing for a while. And Tekken Ball...
I believe so.
And Tekken Ball made a return in a couple of games. I believe it recently came up in Tag Tournament 2, to name a specific one. Alright, let me see. Who do I want to do for Tekken Ball? Let's throw in Paul Phoenix and see how that goes.
We have another $10 donation.
Ooh, go ahead.
Greetings from North Dakota. Given every year HFC has run a charity marathon, and I'm glad to give again. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Aww. Thank you kindly.
So the idea behind Tekken Ball mode is that obviously you're still fighting an opponent similar to how you would normally fight someone, except this time around you can't do damage with your own attacks. You have to use this here beach ball to do the goods. So you can either deflect attacks into it, which will give it varying degrees of power depending on the strength of your attack, but in addition to that, if the ball makes it behind you, and behind this here white line, the ball itself will also deal damage to you, and that is, I believe, a set amount, like 25 or so. So it becomes like a competition of using your best attacks at the right time to power up the ball, but also being able to deflect the ball in such a way that it ends up behind them. And whilst you can't do damage, you can still interrupt their actions. So if they're close enough to this line, you could like kick them down to the floor and then boot the ball really high over them, and then get a few points that way. It's a fairly simple mode. There's nothing really much to it, but it's a neat way to play the game differently. And in terms of different ball types, you've got varying degrees of ball damage, so it will absorb more damage and deal more damage, so it takes a lot less to actually destroy someone using the ball itself rather than just trying to kick it over the opponent.
I mean, that definitely makes sense. And also, something else that somebody else in the chat pointed out is that actually, canonically, Paul Phoenix is the one who defeated Ogre in the canon, which I find hilarious because Paul Phoenix is sort of like, he's a bit of a joke character, but he's also sort of not. Like, he's just completely ridiculous. I mean, anybody with that sort of hair, like, seriously. He's also got, I'm pretty sure, he's got a thing against, I feel it's Kuma.
Yeah, he has a bit of a feud going on with Kuma.
Yeah, which is just kind of ridiculous. It's hilarious.
It was actually pointed out in one of Tekken 6's ending. I think it was either Younger Law or Older Law, where they find Kuma and it just turns out to be an ordinary bear. And he starts trying to fight with him and it's just an ordinary bear and they just get chased out the forest. It was amazing. Tekken had some hilarious endings, but I find they didn't really come to their own until around Tekken 5, because the endings were a little bit short, and I would say probably more slapstick than anything else.
Oh, definitely.
But when you get to Tekken 5, you have, for instance, Lee Xiaolon's amazing ending, where you get to see Heihachi in a Speedo and a bow tie.
Yeah.
It is so hokey, but I love it.
It's not something I feel anybody needed to see, but it's there.
Yep. 2 fingers. Right away, sir.
Oh god, I'm trying to remember any of the other hilarious ones. Obviously, Anna Williams and Nina Williams have got quite hilarious endings, because both of those involve really hilariously screwing over
one another,
their sister.
Although, in Tekken 6, Anna's was actually the one in a while that wasn't actually a deliberate screw around. It was just them kind of playing pool, and then they got into a fight.
That sounds about right.
And basically, Anna and Nina just kicked the dude's asses, and then for some reason, Lee was behind the bar, and he just gave a random thumbs up, and it's just like, what the hell are you doing back there? You don't belong
Tekken
here.
magic.
Yeah. I do have a bit of a confession to make. Tekken 3 is actually not one of my favorite games, but it is probably one of the most iconic. And literally the only reason it's not my favorite game is because Lee isn't in it.
Totally fair. I mean, Tekken 3 was my first Tekken game ever, so always has a special place in my heart, but I would say that my favourite is definitely Tekken 5.
Yeah, 5 is really solid. 6 was okay, I would say.
Yeah, it was not a fan.
I mean, it did look flashy and it had, like, stuff in all the right places, but there was a bit of magic I think that was missing. I mean, it's hard to explain. Maybe it was like the lackluster final boss. I didn't really think much of Azazel, to be honest with you.
No.
I mean, he was kind of cool, but I don't know. We already had Ogre at that point, and, you know, overpowered Jim Patchy, I suppose you could count in that sort of ilk too.
Yeah.
So, you know, you kind of just felt like it had been done before.
Yeah, definitely. Nat, what about you? What was your favourite Tekken game?
Well, I've only played Tekken Tag. Like,
Totally fair.
Do you have much experience with Tekken 1 or 2?
I mean, I definitely don't, unfortunately.
Well, I played a fair bit of Tekken 2. I remember playing Tekken 1 after playing Tekken 3 because, you know, somebody had the game and I thought, oh, cool, you have Tekken, let's play a bit of that. And it was Tekken 1. Oh my god, it was rough.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, like, Tekken 1 was obviously the first in the series, and it's kind of when you're finding your feet in terms of what you want, well, what they wanted the game to be. Like, they really needed to hone in on everything that they wanted to achieve, and I think they managed that by Tekken 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. They kind of... Although Tekken 2 itself was still a little bit rough, you could tell that there was a drastic improvement. It was enough to get it on the map. But then Tekken 3 came along, and that was when Tekken was really put out there as like one of the premier fighting games alongside the likes of Street Fighter. And really, there wasn't really much other than Street Fighter and the King of Fighters around that time. Because obviously, when you had Street Fighter going along, you had Mortal Kombat as well, but Mortal Kombat kind of died out by the time Mortal Kombat 4 came around.
Yes.
Fatal Fury started out on the Mega Drive and then eventually became King of Fighters on all your various PlayStation consoles. And like some of the early King of Fighter games, like 97 and things like that, are absolutely incredible. And then, of course, well, yeah, Mortal Kombat didn't really come back until sort of like PS2 era. So it took a while for there to be more competition apart from Tekken and Street Fighter, but it eventually came along, and I mean, we got some really cool niche fighting games on the PlayStation as well, some of which we are actually going to be playing later on in the in the Sonython. I always said Nintendo-thon for a second there. Derp!
Yeah, you're about 2 years too late on that one, Volk.
Yep.
So suppose here's another question. Favourite Tekken characters, folks?
I kind of have a soft spot for Raven, just because he's literally just a blonde Wesley Snipes. Lee's obviously probably my absolute favourite character. I just love his fighting style, I love his goofy-ass endings. Like, everything about him is just top tier, in my opinion. Paul Phoenix, I would probably put up there as well. I would say Paul Phoenix is definitely up there as well. Who else? In terms of characters who I think are probably the coolest, I don't know. I think Jin's a bit too much of an edgelord, but I kind of liked Hwoarang. Hwoarang had kind of a cool thing going for him. Like his Tekken 5 ending, for instance, where he's just driving around on a bike and the thing just blows up and just Devil Jin starts coming after him. That moment right there solidified Hwoarang as the absolute badass character for me.
Definitely. What about you, Nat?
Trying to remember what, like it was the Indian, like, Native American characters. I can't remember.
Michelle and Julia Chang.
Yeah.
So I remember I enjoyed playing with those when I played Tekken 5. This was like ages ago when my brother had a PS2 and he had the game and I used to play it a lot.
Yeah, Julia and... Well, I've mostly had Julia in all the games I've played, but it started with Michelle, and then when they got to Tekken 3 they sort of did a time jump. So this got rid of her and shoved in Julia, and then have sort of mixed and matched as they've got along. I think when it comes to my favourites, Tekken 3, it was definitely Gon, Ling Xiaoyu, and Anna Williams. Just because so Gon obviously hilarious, and I love him dearly.
Of course.
Obviously. Ling Xiaoyu, she's the kind of fast, speedy character, and that's always sat very well with me. And then Anna Williams just sort of, comes in with like really heavy hits, and also it's just quite hilarious to watch someone in like a full-on Chinese dress with heels beating the hell out of people.
Yeah, I can respect that.
It's just quite glorious. Come Tekken 5, I was very fond of Asuka Kazama.
Oh yeah, Asuka
was
was
brand new
cool.
for that game, because she has this move where you like hold the X button and she kind of spins around and lands like the most deadly of kicks, and it's glorious because it does so much damage. And yeah, I love that. So she's also quite a favourite character.
Yeah, understandable. Who else really stands out in terms of Tekken characters?
Ooh.
Like, there's a bunch. Like, I always found the whole King and Armor King thing rather amusing. There was always like an aura of mystery surrounding him. It's just like, wait, is this supposed to be a serious character or not? And then, of course, they threw in Greg Marduk sometime into the mix, and then they became sort of like tag team partners. And then Armor King was sort of like assumed dead, but then came back to life or something like that. It was a bit crazy. And then, of course, in Tekken, it was either in Tekken 6 or Tekken 7, where Michelle and or Julia sort of like got into luchador wrestling or something like that. And then they'd have scraps with King and Greg occasionally as well.
Yeah, because that's just how you do it.
That is called world building, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. So, I feel since we are most of the way through our lovely stream of Tekken 3 now, we should probably just remind people of all of the lovely incentives that we've got for the marathon this year so far. Anyway, so we've got the Final Fantasy VII Name a Character Warbid, which is just glorious.
Yep, the idea behind that one is that people will put on their own ideas for names, although you can either bid on those, or if you think you can do better, come up with one of your own. I believe there's still some... I think there might still be a character or two that needs to have somebody named, but I think at this point, I think every character has at least one name to them. Alright, anyway,
yes.
I think we are good to go for showing off Tekken Force Mode, which is ridiculously unfair, but I feel it's only fair we show it off.
Oh, of course. Totally only fair that we do it. So with the naming characters bid war, we've got Cloud named Edgelord for $10. Kitesith, that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Screw you guys. Named Dingus for, I believe, $21. Cloud named Protag for $10. Cloud named... so I believe it's Dekid, but God knows how people want that pronounced anyway these days. So that's $204. Like, blooming hell, guys, you love the Dekad. Barrett named Helnar for $1. Vincent named Funny, as in Funny Valentine, for $27. Kitesith named Crimslin, or Crimbleton, for $5. Eris named Gonna Die, hell yes, for $50. Tifa named Speranda, is Speranda a girl, for $34. Red 13 named Sunny for $25. Eris named Gonna Live for $20. Red 13 named Crash for $10. Sid named Guy Fieri for $60. Barrett named Mr. T for $10. Vincent named Alucard for $20. Yuffie named Waifu for $17. And Kitesith named Entom for $21. The other incentives that we've got a whole batch for Mega Man X5. So you can either start as 0 or start as X. Currently winning is X with a grand total of $1. So guys, if you want to get in on that bid war, you're totally free to at the minute because it's all out there to win. If you want the Awaken Zero ending, you need to reach $700, and we've currently got about 20, so it's a bit of a ways to go on that one, but I believe in y'all. You can get Ultimate Armor X for $300, but we're about $25 on that one. And we can also get the Black Zero Armor, which is going to cost you $500, and we've got zilch at present, so bit of a ways to go for that, but Mega Man X5 is a while away, so you've got plenty of time. And then, last but not least, we have got Resident Evil 2, which also coming on. I think, Volk, you're running that one as well, aren't you?
I am indeed, yes.
Yes, so you can either begin have the first scenario as Claire or Leon. Claire is currently winning this bid war with $105, and Leon's got 77, so it's not far off.
Yeah,
so,
it's pretty close. I mean, between the two, I would much rather play as Leon, but, you know, it's what the viewers want at the end of the day. I do think just like Leon's dialogue alone just sells that entire scenario for me.
So, obviously, if you want to donate towards one of those incentives, make sure that you include it in your comments when you donate, and we will pop it to whatever you want that to go towards. And, obviously, we appreciate anything you can give. We love you all.
Indeed. So, Tekken Force Mode, as you may notice, plays a bit like Streets of Rage if the controllers were made by someone who has absolutely no idea what they're doing. Because it's on a 3D, it's kind of on a 2D, 3D plane, but moving on the 3D plane is ridiculously difficult because you have to kind of sidestep. But the problem is you sidestep in very, very tiny increments. So trying to get that one piece of chicken takes absolutely for freaking ever.
Yeah.
And of course you're on a time limit as well, which doesn't do you any favours.
Yeah, it's really, really dickish. Particularly because you unlock a character for beating this mode. You unlock Dr. Boskonovich.
Which is kind of like a weird mix of Eddie Gordo with some other unique kind of flair thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, but obviously he is ridiculously difficult to unlock because you have to beat Tekken Forces mode, which...
Well, not only that, but you have to beat it 4 times. Each time you beat it, you get a bronze key, a silver key, and a gold key. And when you go through Tekken Force mode the 4th time and complete it, you unlock a special level which gives you Dr. Boskonovich.
Oh, that's just cruel.
I know. Why the hell would they make you want to play this mode 4 times? Once is quite enough for me, thank you very much. Fortunately, however, there are alternate means of unlocking everything in this game.
Yeah.
Rather than just unlocking it normally, you can also cheese it by selecting characters enough times. And by which I mean, after you select any character about 100 times or so, you unlock like your first thing, and then it goes from there up to about 700 when you unlock Tiger Jackson, which is an alternate version of Eddie Gordo. And is absolutely awesome because it comes with his own theme music and has an afro.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
I may not be much of a fan of Eddie, but I do like Tiger Jackson.
Oh, definitely. And I have to say, Volk, you are doing pretty gosh darn well at this.
I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to complete it in time, but you know what? I figured I'd just give this a few tries and see how far we get.
Well, definitely, I mean, I think you're doing far better than I ever did.
Well, to be fair, I'm using Jin Kazama, and for some reason the AI don't seem to know much about what to do about the Hell Sweeps, a infamous move among the Kojima family. Kojima family? Mishima family. Oh my god, I'm just getting everything mixed up today, aren't I? It's a good thing I'm only doing one game today, otherwise I'd be fucked. Yes, we are the Tekken 3, where you fight against the Hideo Kojima family, and Hideo Kojima himself literally turns into the devil and shoots at you with pachinko machines.
Oh, that's perfect.
I wouldn't go that far, but it'll make for hilarious fan fiction. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, guys, please donate away with lovely fan fictions of the Hideo Kojima family in Tekken, and lovely Nat will read it out, unless it's in the next game, in which case that'll be totally down to Tom and Spa, most likely, while the H-Paw crew deal with Kingdom Hearts 0.2, Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage.
Now, this is the problem, because you're on a timer, it does eventually game over if you run out of time.
Yeah.
Let me see if fixing the round time actually does anything for that, because I'd be interested to find out. But I think it was because I was too low in health and I didn't want to risk it, so I thought, quick, get the chicken, but of course it takes you 10 seconds just to align yourself properly with the chicken.
Yeah. Okay, so just had an update. So for Kingdom Hearts 0.2, it is just going to be Tom joining the lovely H-Paw guys, because Spa's busy, but he'll be back for his games later on down the line. I believe unless he's also busy this evening, he's also supposed to be on for Metal Gear Solid 1. But we will see how it goes. We're just going relaxed this year, because it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if it were like going about it like the same way we did in previous marathons, I would probably doubt Tekken 3 would actually have made it in, just because it lacks a story mode. But since we're going about it a bit more casual, and it is like a Sony staple, we thought it would be just cool to include it, because at the very least we can show it off, show what it's all about, show off Gon, because Gon's amazing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I have to say, had I actually been able to stream, because like it's not gonna happen, I definitely would have shown off the SSX games, because they are amazing.
The only SSX game I remember playing was SSX Tricky, with the awesome Run DMC theme going on in the background. As far as other PlayStation games go that involve snowboarding, I actually had a black disc promotional copy of something called Cool Borders, and I remember that being
yes. Yeah. I mean, I think like SSX1, SSX Tricky, and SSX3 are like my favourite snowboarding games ever, and then the reboot like made me so sad, because it just wasn't very SSX-y, and I was just like, why? God damn you. So I'll just have my memories of the golden era of SSX, and that's all I can live with now.
Oh, it's better than nothing, I suppose.
Tis true.
I mean, Cool Borders was alright. I mean, it wasn't anything like stand out like SSX was, for instance, but it had certain appeal. One thing I remember doing is if you hold down the X button, which is your button to set yourself up for a jump or a trick.
Yes.
The longer you held it down for, the faster you can spin in the air. And
yes.
I remember on one particular level, like there's a good ramp before the first jump, and if you just held down the X button that entire way, you could just spin and do like a 1440 spin or something like that. It was ridiculous. This would be so much easier if you could just align yourself up with the chicken correctly, or if it just gave it to you automatically as drops.
Well, yes, but that would make these things far too easy. That's just cruel.
But yeah, you can tell this was just something they kind of just threw in there for fun of it. It wasn't really something they really... I wouldn't say they put a serious amount of thought into it. Or maybe they did, I don't know. But it just feels a little bit too rough around the edges for it to be something that they really, really committed themselves towards. They just thought, well, what else can we include in this here game? And they thought, well, let's have this mode as a bit like a Streets of Rage thing. And then, of course, they had Tekken Ball as well, because they didn't really have to do much in the way of messing around with the coding. So I suppose it's just something neat they can throw in there just to kind of alternate things around a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
Alright, we'll try this one more time. Maybe two if we have time. But apart from that, I think we'll be just about done soon. We've pretty much showed off most of the things in this game, apart from, of course, Dr. B. But, of course, he is an arse to unlock, and I just refuse.
Well, I think we've got like another 9 minutes or so before we are due to begin Kingdom Hearts 0.2, so I'm sure they've got plenty of time.
Alright, that should be enough for a good couple more attempts, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Luckily, Jin's very good for this because he's got the hell sweeps, and his kicks are generally quite powerful. The faster you can one-hit dudes, generally the easier the time you'll have, because obviously you're on a timer, and that's just less time for them to retaliate against you as well, so you're taking less damage as well, so...
Oh, definitely.
Your character choice can factor in quite heavily here.
Oh, it can. I mean, that's pretty much been the case in all the games that have had these sorts of modes since, because... I still haven't finished the Tekken 6 story mode because the characters that I selected that I unlocked, yeah, let's just say they didn't work out too well for me when I got to a certain level. And I'm just like, you know what? I can't be bothered with this, and so I just put it down for a bit. Which is really bad, but I will return to Tekken 6 one day to finish that story mode. It has not bested me yet.
Yeah. I mean, that one did improve on the Tekken Force formula a lot, but... You can tell there are a few rough points to it, but it plays so much better.
Oh god, yes.
To the point where it's actually fun and you kind of want to play it rather than feeling obligated to.
Yes. So I just had a question in the chat from King Dragoon 99. What are everyone's opinions on Tekken 7?
Amazing game. Absolutely love it. I haven't actually got the chance to own it yet, but I played loads of it down at MCM London, and it's just an incredible game. You can tell they put a lot of thought into it. The story mode is hype as hell, and they put a lot of thought as well into how tournament play works as well, since they actually have a proper tournament mode thrown in there as well, where it actually has all the set timers, set the rounds up, and make it so when you disconnect your controller, it doesn't pause the game. And it actually disables the pause button as well.
Oh, that sounds good.
And of course, they got a nice selection of characters as well. And, you know, apart from having Akuma as a guest character, they've also soon getting Geese Howard from King of Fighters fame. So soon you'll be able to lease the geese.
Ooh.
It was amazing when they announced Geese Howard for that game. It makes me wonder if they're going to eventually get guest characters from most of the big games around at the moment, because they got Akuma from obviously Street Fighter, which in spite of all things is still doing pretty well for itself.
Definitely.
And I think that's alright, yeah. I mean, Street Fighter is like a fighting game staple. You don't really want it to die, but you want it to do better at the same time. And that's kind of what the brunt of those kind of things are. But obviously you got him, and soon we'll be getting Geese Howard from King of Fighters. I'm wondering if they'll get like a Guilty Gear character in there or something similar. Or maybe they'll have like a guest character from a long-forgotten fighting game series, Samurai Showdown. That would be something.
We'll see about that one.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some supposed leaks about what it could be, and there's been plenty of speculation as to who it might be based on like the data entries, but... Yeah. Nothing's set in stone yet, but it's exciting stuff, especially seeing as Tekken 7 seems to be such a huge love letter in general to the fighting game community, with how solid the gameplay is and just like the amount of content and characters that are in there. You've got a good variety, you've got plenty of new characters as well, some very popular returning characters as well. Obviously the story mode was just ridiculous. If you haven't had the chance to play it or watch it, please do. It is so exciting just to even watch, but actually playing it just takes it to a whole other level.
Nice. I mean, potential characters it could be, I don't know, but they could go with either a Virtua Fighter character, because obviously that's a classic.
Oh yeah, they could go with like Akira or Jackie or Jeffrey or something like that.
Or they could go with Soul Calibur, which is obviously the other big fighting game franchise, although that's been dormant really since Soul Calibur 5.
And before they announced Voldo as the next DLC, and people everywhere will cry.
Yeah. So, Nat, what do you think of Tekken 7?
I enjoyed what I saw of it. Like, I've not actually played it because I don't have a controller that actually can connect with Windows 10, because it's an absolute pain in the ass getting the PS3 controller to work.
Yeah, I heard that. I have to actually use something called a DS4, and it's a program that literally programs your DualShock 4 into being compatible with Windows 10. And more to the point, you can also reconfigure some of the buttons and even make it emulate an Xbox controller if you wanted to.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. But yeah, I will agree with what Nat said, especially with arcade sticks. Arcade sticks seem to be the worst for it. Like, there seems to be like some things with like graphics cards not being compatible with some sticks. Like, if you're going for a Mad Catz one, you need like an NVIDIA card, or if you're using another sort of one, if you're using a Hori, you need like a different kind of video card as well. It's a bit weird. I want that chicken. Give me the chicken.
Go for the chicken, Volk. Go for the chicken.
It is just barely out of screen. I can't actually get it.
So let me just refresh.
Alrighty.
We have another donation for $25.
Yay.
Woohoo.
Hello, gents. It's Billy Boomers again. Here's $25 dingo towards getting that sweet Ultimate Armor X. I hope that can at least protect you from Hideo Kojima and his infamous pachinko machine.
Tobias, have you been donating to that there Sonython again? But it was an emergency! I believe we may have already made that joke, but it's so amazing it bears repeating.
Totally fair. Thank you very much, Billy Boomer.
I would very much just like to see the 4th level. If I can at least do that, I'll be happy. I'll call that a net win.
Well, we believe in you, Volk. You got this.
You may believe in me, but I don't. God, these things do so much damage. What the hell? Why can't I do that much damage to you?
Because video games. That is your reasoning.
I suppose I'll have to just accept it. Give me a chicken. There we go. Thank you.
Volk, the chat is sending their love to you.
Does it give me more health?
No, but it will hopefully make a chicken more likely to turn up.
Well, there's one right there, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to it before I die. No. There we go. That is the eternal answer to that question. And so, we end the way we came in, staggering bloody on the floor, having been beat up by a guy in a biker costume. But there we go. That is your little warm-up for today with Tekken 3. I know it seems like a bit of an odd game to put into Sonython, but hopefully regardless of that, you have enjoyed your first foray into the fighting game experience that is provided by the PlayStation. As far as fighting games coming up are concerned, we obviously will have Soul Edge, which is another fairly iconic staple of the PlayStation, and we've also got some Guilty Gear, which is a game near and dear to me and is probably one of my favourites, and a more obscure one in the form of Battle Arena Toshinden 3. So if you want some more fighting game action, there's plenty enough to come in just the coming days. For now though, we're going to sign off here. We're going to get ready to start up Kingdom Hearts, which will be with H-Paw and his friends, along with Enton64, heading down the Cocoms. So hopefully you'll enjoy that, but for now, I'm signing off. Thank you again to Richie and Nat for joining me on this excursion, and hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves as well.
All good. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, guys.